Okay, all right. So I wanted to make another update. It's something to do with the nine and the things that I've discovered so far with this crazy, unimaginable shit I'm going through. I made a little discovery, and I didn't thought I knew a whole bunch, but I discovered some more stuff. This has to do with the nine dimensions, or what some people would have called in different times the nine underworlds, or the nine realms, which we've all heard in folklore, right? In ancient past and history. Now, I've discovered some things about these dimensions that I didn't know before, because I didn't know all of them, right? I knew that there was nine, but I didn't know exactly what they were. Now, I'm going to just give a description of what I discovered. Now, of course, we have this dimension that we're in right now, this realm that we are in on Earth right now, what we're living, right? So we have that. Now, just above that, we have the astral dimension. Now, some people might have some misunderstandings about this, right? Some people say there's lower astral and higher astral. Well, it is and it isn't, okay? So the astral right here is like, say, when somebody goes out of their body and they're seeing this dimension, this physical world, right? They're seeing the people around, almost kind of like remote viewing in a way, right? So we have that, okay? That's another dimension. And then we have the mirror dimension, or the mirror realm. Now that's a third. I don't know exactly which order. This is the order I just put them in. Now this mirror dimension is the dream world, right? Now these knights have been using the dream world as well. These oaks, these nine, to do some of their attacks and influencing through the dream world. And yeah, kind of sucks. I've dealt with it, and they've messed up with my dreams and a whole bunch of other stuff. So then we have this fifth dimension, which I'm just calling it the fifth dimension because that's what a lot of people call this one dimension. And the fifth dimension is another dimension which is kind of like this world as well. Everything's there. It's not quite the same. Now I know I explained that the nine is working out of the fifth dimension as well. They're actually work out of all of them. But this is another one, and I've discovered some things, and it's not what you think it is. The fifth dimension that they tell you to ascend to, that's a bunch of horse shit. This is just another one of these dimensions that the owl have control over. Okay, so then we have the Fey realm, or the Fey dimension, and this has to do with the old folklore of when you hear about these stories in the past, mostly in Europe and Scotland and Ireland, this fairy realm, right? And we're talking about dragons and all these other crazy, weird Fey realm creatures and that live there. And that's another one the owls are in control of as well, right? So now we're going to move on, and now this other dimension, the next dimension is the first, and I'm going to make this clear because I talked about the death dimension before, okay? Now, the death dimension, there's a main death dimension, and there's another death dimension, which I discovered, which I didn't realize. Doing all this fighting with these guys and learning more things. So anyways, but first I'll talk about the main death dimension. So the main death dimension is where they were getting, everybody was going, and when they die, mostly everybody. And of course, there's a battle going on, and this death dimension is now most of the good guys are over there, from what I heard. But there's still a battle going on through this. And this death dimension has to do with the moon. And I was talking about the moon. The moon is a portal to the death dimension. this main one. So if you want to watch my video on the moon, go back and watch that one. It explains a little bit more about the what's going on with that. And so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 dimensions so far. Now I come across a few more dimensions, the names of them, right? Or what they are. The next one is, it's like I got information that it comes from like H.P. Lovecraft talked about these dimensions. And one of them is also used in some new lore in games today. This one is the Desolate Void Dark Dimension. Now, from what I heard, there's nothing in there. Like, there's stuff in there, but it's all dark and black. It's a very dark dimension. And that's just another one that they're in control of, and that's another, some people might describe that as a lower astral realm. Like this all black, dark place. Kind of like, when they're showing that video or in the show Stranger Things, when she goes in there, but it's kind of like that, but not really. All I know, it's a very dark place. That's I think that's number 7. And then I discovered about another dimension. Now this other dimension is this one's pretty crazy. This one is what I heard, where it's a magic dimension. It talks about psi abilities and psychic powers and stuff like this, but it talks about this is where this dwells, this magic dimension. And I'm like, whoa, this is some crazy shit, right? And of course they're pulling energy from that, from what I heard. This other dimension that has to do with magic. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And I was like, okay. I'm not sure exactly what that place looks like. All I know is all the descriptions I got, it has to do with psi and magic. This other dimension that they're pulling this energy from or something. I'm not sure. Then there's another dimension. There's one more dimension. Now this dimension was the last one I kind of discovered and learned about what it is, and it has to do with, this is the other death dimension. But this dimension, it said, it's where people go when they commit suicide. It said it was talking about suicide and war, and how it's really crazy. It said it's a really sad, nasty place, not very nice. And this one, it said, was locked, something to do with sigils and seals that they use to lock it through this magic stuff as on this dimension, which had to do with a 6-pointed star, let's just say that. Okay, which got broken open from what I heard, so that's good to know. But yeah, this dimensions, and it said, was another death dimension, and it's like it said, it has to do with sadness and depression, and like I said, people that commit suicide were going into this place. And the owl race really didn't want nobody to know about this place, that it was a separate place. And they weren't too happy when I figured this shit out. And I wanted to get all this information out so you guys can look this shit up. Like, I didn't have time to study all this stuff, right? This is information that I got, but and I'm just going to explain this. There's no other dimensions beside those 9. There's no hell and there's no heaven. Okay? And I know a lot of you people out there that believe in the religion and believe in this stuff are going to say this is what I'm talking is just bullshit. But no, those are lies created by the owl to make people believe in their religions that there's these pearly gates and there's this place where you burn in hell if you're bad. No, it's just these 9 dimensions, and people are getting recycled back and forth through a few of these, and some of these other dimensions are just other dimensions that are here. But you have to understand that this is inside what I call the net. Now, this net is around the solar system, is around certain areas out in space, it's around the Earth, it's around the moon, it's around Mars. But it's all, this net contains all these dimensions within it. Okay? And it's like the prison wall, like I described. But these dimensions are within this place, except for it doesn't work on all the dimensions exactly, because the good guys got in through part of it. I heard they got through the death dimension, the main one. So now they're trying to break in here, which is good news. So yeah, call me crazy, guys. Call me psychopath, whatever you want. This is the stuff that I'm dealing with. I know what's going on with me, and I know the battle I've been doing with this 9. And I don't think they're very happy that I figured out a lot of the shit. But if they never would have attacked me, I probably would have never figured out this information and went after it. So, and I was watching. Who was I watching? I was watching some people talking about, how they talk about the invisible rulers or archons or whatever, and thinking that they're only just in one other dimension. And it's like, no, you got to look into the past. They've talked about these 9 places before. If you look in history, look at the Norway and the Nordics and the Vikings and how they talk about the 9 realms. And you look into the Aztecs and the Incas, and some of those cultures talk about the 9 underworlds, right? I think the Egyptians did as well, but I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at that. But that's for you guys to go look up. Go look this shit up, and maybe you'll find out more stuff that I don't know, right? Something that I might have missed, or something else that that pertains to this. You guys might have some more knowledge than me, right? I'm just hoping I just want to get this information out to people, and they can do what they want with it, and believe it or not, that's it. So there you go.